So we're sitting here with JT Forkin. He's a member of the Syracuse lacrosse team, and today we're going to be talking about lacrosse and some injuries that he's endured. So the hardship that he's had to overcome in order to get back on the field, and how that's affected his life and his play on the field. So let's talk about a little bit of your background. Explain where you're from.
I'm from Long Beach, Long Island. I play attack, number 4.
And when did you start playing lacrosse?
I started playing lacrosse around probably the age of 4. I think was the first year I was on an actual team.
And so, being from Long Island it's pretty big in lacrosse. Everybody says, Maryland, upstate New York, Long Island are the big lacrosse hotbeds, if you will. And so, what was that like? Knowing that lacrosse was going to be a part of your life, whether you played or didn't play.
It was awesome. It gave me the great opportunity to come to a school like Syracuse. I'd never have the chance without lacrosse to be at such a prestige school. So, lacrosse in itself was pretty big because every team you played was good. Everyone's good. It's the hotbed. So, good competition coming out of there. I feel it gives you a little advantage coming into college, easier to transition to the college game.
Right. And so you must have played alongside with some guys that were going to places or against some guys that were going to places. So that probably helped you out. Do you know any off the top of your head?
Out of my high school, the last All-American before I was from my high school was actually my cousin, Eddie Collins. He was the goalie at Hofstra. He just graduated last year. And then I also played against Jack Grass, played at Hopkins, great lacrosse player. Henry Grass played at Hopkins, great lacrosse player. People like that. The names go on and on. Garden City definitely was the biggest school I ever played against. They beat us in the county semifinals every single year I was in high school. So
there was an article that came out on Inside Lacrosse, and it evaluated the Duke roster, and the majority of their players were dual sport athletes, and not in the sense that they played in college, but coming out of high school, they played 2 different sports, most notably football. And as I've gathered, you were quite the football player in high school. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
I was actually a tri-sport athlete in high school. I played hockey as well. I was all Long Island football player my senior year. I think it just goes hand in hand. Like, you want the best athletes. You'd rather people who excel in both sports. So it kind of works together. You can't just play one sport because lacrosse is a combination of a bunch of different sports.
So do you think that playing football and playing hockey helped your play on the lacrosse field?
For sure, yeah, definitely. Just taking hits and giving hits, you learn how to do that, and then turns over into lacrosse when you're fighting for ground balls and fighting for possession, like chasing people down. It's the same concept in every game.
Right. So, how serious were you about your other sports? Did you ever consider playing hockey and or football at the next level?
I was pretty good at hockey growing up. I played junior C when I was in 8th grade, and that was the last year I actually played travel hockey. My mom didn't have the money, but hockey's always been my, if I could go back and redo it, I would have stuck with hockey to see where it could take me. So I was a pretty good hockey player. But football as well. I was committed after 10th grade for lacrosse to Syracuse, but I was actually asked to be a preferred walk-on at a high school for the Syracuse football team to return kicks. So I'd say I was a pretty decent football player as well.
Did you ever give that consideration, or do you think that would be too much on your plate?
I thought about it for a couple minutes, and it's way too much. I live on the beach. I enjoy my summers too much. I don't want to be at school the whole entire time. and also I'm 5'9", like 175 pounds. I walk by the kids on the football team and I think about it all the time. Like, what if I actually did take that and played? Like, those guys are ginormous. They would have squashed me.
So let's talk a little bit about your Syracuse career, how it began, and how you felt coming into one of the greatest lacrosse programs in history. So take us to your freshman year.
Freshman year, I redshirted my freshman year. I was pumped coming out of high school. I was the number 9 recruit in the country, I believe, or something like that. Top 15, we'll say. So I was on my high horse coming in, and then I got here and I got a little bit of like a shell shock at how fast the game was. So it took me a year. So I redshirted. It took me the year to really get things going, and by the end of the season in the spring, I started to see my old self back on the field that I played like in high school.
So we have your redshirt season now, so you're starting to feel like yourself again at the end of your redshirt season. So take us now to the next year, your first year of actual eligibility, and the first year you're able to play in games.
So my redshirt freshman year, I was the fourth attackman on the team. I was behind Kevin Rice, Dylan Donahue, and Randy Stats. 3 pretty pristine names in the game of lacrosse. I think I ended the season with like 15 points, and I played in like 6 or 7 games only. So I had a pretty good season. Every time I went in, I showed the coaches what I could do, put the ball in the net. So.
Definitely agree with that. We've seen your play on the field, and we're quite impressed. So now we're at your junior year, and as we've gathered, you weren't on the roster for a little bit of your junior year. Why don't you explain where you went and how that happened?
I actually, my GPA was too low to stay at Syracuse, so I'd take the year off. I went to Nassau Community College on Long Island, where I'm from, for the year, and I played there while I was gone, and I was the JUCO Player of the Year, Offensive Player of the Year. I think I had like 80-something points in like 10 games.
So you go to junior college, and you're arguably the best player in the junior college league. So after that, you come back to Syracuse, and then explain what happened with your injury.
So I finally make it back. It took me a year and a half to come back. I was pumped. It was the week of the first game. It was Wednesday. I just got a brand new shaft, fresh dyed head. We're doing one-on-ones, and I'm going against Scotty Furman. And I tried to set him up to do a question mark, and I tore my ACL in my right knee when I tried to pivot.
And so team doctors performed surgery. That went well. And now you're back on the field playing. Explain the rehab process and how that was for you mentally as well.
It was a long road, you know. I'm a hyperactive person. I need to be doing things at all times, so it was tough for a little while not being able to do anything on my own, put socks on my feet, like touch my toes, like even get in and out of bed was a struggle the first week or two. So that definitely took a toll mentally. But other than that, recovery, it was a lot easier looking forward the further and further I got from when the surgery was.
So now you're back on the field and you're playing. You're almost at full strength, and we're going to be able to finally see you in a Syracuse jersey. How does that feel?
I'm pumped. I mean, I've been waiting for it. I was so excited last year to finally be back with all my brothers on the team. I wanted to go out and show the coaches why they invested so much in me. And hopefully this year, no more speed bumps in the road. I'll be back out there doing my thing.
So here we have it. We've got JT Forkin of the Syracuse lacrosse team coming in as the number 9 recruit, getting hurt, enduring hardship with having to go to a community college for a year, showing why he deserves to be at Syracuse with being the best player in community college lacrosse. And now we're looking forward to seeing number 4 in an orange jersey. Thank you for your time.
You're welcome.